Hey there, frendos, Newbornkilik here, welcoming you back to another awesome corrupting video. Now we are actually going back to an older series, one that I've kind of wiggled my way back into, called Corruption Hunting. Now this time we're going to be going through Super Mario 64 and try to complete the first floor levels, the first, area of levels that you gain access to, with a bunch of corruptions and stuff in mind. And then at the end, we're also going to go through some texture corruptions, and I assure you, things get pretty dang messy. So, if you'd like to see me do, more of these, maybe we could do the downstairs area, or a specific level you want me to take a look at throughout all these corruptions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I am exploring with it right now, so what I have access to is basically boiled down to, I have to know what the specific bytes of that level are so that I can go in and corrupt just that level so that it loads in properly. So it is a time thing, to be completely honest with you, but these videos are pretty fun to make and I really enjoy seeing my games torn apart, Especially those texture mods at the end, you're gonna love them. Anyway, let's hop right into the corruption. Starting off, we have ourselves an amazing little bit here. Bear in mind, this isn't me actually playing. As you can see by the press start screen here, this is actually... that's the title screen. And the game crashed. Heading into the field here, we can see that everything is relatively tame-ish at this point, I suppose. If this is any indication of how this video is going to go, I think we're going to have a pretty good time. Also, I'm stuck. Maybe I can climb a tree? I'm stuck again, okay? Every dang minute, I'm getting stuck. I guess I'll head inside the castle and... that's a thing that can happen. I guess let's try the other door, see what happens, maybe. That one doesn't even give you, a proper death screen. It just actually, you just walk into the door and disappear into the Great Divide. That's a new area, fun fact. Bob on Battlefield seems relatively normal so far. I did go ahead and, this is the exact same code that we use for the beginning parts. And normally with these mods, cannons will actually totally break the game, so I'm curious to see if this one will let me shoot out. Wasn't actually expecting it to work, but hey! I'm not Just as I praise you for working, I'm thinking maybe warps are probably going to crash the game as well, but if the entirety of the level is loaded in all at once, then maybe not. This truly is an unpredictable being. Planning on getting the Bomb King, that's going to be a negative. The wing cap crashes as well. So let's just go for a super simple star here. No problem. And I'm guessing it's going to crash. Oh, that was extra quiet. So, before we head into the next level, let's actually mix things up just a little bit. So, I'm going to make it just the tiniest bit more corrupt. We're going to see exactly what that entails. Mario touches himself just like that. But you probably shouldn't do that, Mario. You're going to get this video demonetized. What if a Princess Peach wants to get kidnapped? I love the fact that he does like this. He's like totally walking around with his hands behind his back like, yes, I do believe there was something I was missing. Also, a master martial artist right here. Eliminated the boy. I will say things are significantly more difficult to do here with all this nonsense going on. Okay, so you can collect the metal cap, but it turns off the sound. And if you try to warp, it crashes the game. Overall, there's not really a whole lot different here. After this one amazing save, gotta hand it to myself right there, pretty great. But I did find out that warps do actually work, so we're good to go there. And I'm thinking maybe we can actually defeat this boss in this area too. So with a couple ground pounds or face slams, whatever you want to call them, he does the over-the-shoulder move. Dance for the camera, Mario. You may only have this one pose, but it's still beautiful. Play it, baby. Bear in mind, I didn't edit the sound out of this. It just hasn't had sound. Also, it crashed the game. No surprise. New level, new corruption. I decided to go with a bit more corruption this time, so we're corrupting every 15 frames. Mario does this slide bit, which I think is very appropriate for the icy area that we are in right now. As we're only going to get 1 star on each level, I figured we'll go ahead and take the penguin down to the mama penguin, basically the quintessential cool mountain. What are you doing there, buddy? You alright? Is that how you're gonna transport him like that? Nah, you're just being ridiculous. Speedrun mode initiated. Easy every time. Not a problem at all. Okay, so I actually feel a little bit bad. I do want to explore in this area a little bit more. So let's just look at some of these animations here. I'm stuck. Alright, try it again. Easy mode. I may or may not have put the baby into the cannon. Not a problem anyway, we can get this quick backup star here, just a thin path over this way, and we are moving right along to our next destination. As you can see, one of the largest challenges with this is knowing exactly where your character is. Luckily, the camera tends to follow you around pretty dang well, so it's not really even that big of a challenge. However, this does bring us to a very real challenge. Mario is roughly in the center of the camera, however, not perfectly. So I look like I'm over on the left side of the pillar, so I adjust to the right, and I fall off. Anyway, we collect our free star there and move on to the next level. Easy every time. One thing I find interesting about this section of corruption right here that I've got going on is actually it seems to project Mario very far over into the outer areas of this area sometimes. So I'm just going to let you enjoy this, whatever this is. I was actually pretty surprised that this area over here was actually, it loads with the rest of the level, so we can actually go in here just fine. A bit of quote-unquote expert platforming, as you might anticipate, and we find ourselves with these 4 chests. Now, I don't exactly remember the code. I know it has to do with the lightning bolt shape, but we're gonna slam our faces into it, or rather our invisible bodies into it, until we figure out exactly which spot it is. Easy every time. I don't need to see exactly where Mario is, okay? We have ascended beyond this point. Also, the game crashed. New level, new corruption. We're going extra corrupt for Peach's Slide this time, though. We're literally corrupting every single bite. So if you notice, it sounds awful. But overall, it's really just Peach's Slide. It's kind of interesting because these are very similar to the kind of effects that we got whenever we loaded save games into other save games, which basically just means that, yeah, we could have just done this. Except for the fact that you can't ground pound. It's very similar to Peach's Slide. That is the exact opposite of the one we got on Bob-omb Battlefield. The one on Bob-omb Battlefield was quite nice and relaxing. Just for a little bit of reference, I thought it would be nice to come into this area without a super corrupt save file. Or whatever that noise was. We've experienced it, you and I feel like we've grown closer because of it, to be honest with you. Is it bad that I'm just now starting to worry about Mario being possessed by a demon? I mean, look at this insane strength. You doing alright there, Mario? Mario's been working out those wrists a little bit, able to just swing Bowser around like that. Even though we can barely throw him in the right direction, we can, coax Bowser, you know, over to the bomb and, my bets on this, honestly, were that this key was going to crash the game, but it doesn't. Now that means one of two things. Either everything I know is a lie, or this key is always spawned somewhere in the stage. Or it's loaded in, you know, once the stage loads. But now we're getting into the big boy stuff. Mario. As you can see, I have extended this ROM out so that we can corrupt every single bit of it. Now these are not corruptions that will necessarily affect Mario. These are corruptions that will affect the textures in the world around him. This is what you're here for. Hey buddy, is there something wrong with the background over there? You know, surprisingly, this is actually quite stable, all things well, you know what? You just be that way then, I guess. We have half trees, we have whole trees, quartered trees, diagonal trees, we have every kind of tree you could think about. We're missing some walls here, but you know, Peach's Castle's looking pretty good overall. New paint job, doing some renovations, taking down some walls. Oh my god, that freaked me out, like actually freaked me out, seriously. Why is Why, they had like stingers. That was spooky. Leave me alone. Don't touch, get away. Ew, gross. Leave me alone. Give me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. Store looks fine. Definitely does not look like a creepypasta trap at all. And Mario was never, ever seen again. Yeah, okay, we get it. The title screen is messed up, but this is a nice effect. I appreciate this very much so. It really takes, you know, sculpting Mario's face to a new level. You gotta figure out what's gonna fill up all those dark voids of nothingness back there. I know I shouldn't be surprised, but this is getting legitimately worse. Black void of nothingness. This is actually what you would see during a creepypasta. Easy, buddy. People have problems with that. Now the wood's gone. Where'd all the wood go? Alright, well, we're here again. We got faced the wrong way, I think. I think our starting orientation was changed slightly, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not actually sure. I'm sorry. Birds? Probably birds, but question mark birds? Alright, so the left door obviously gives us the axe. The right door does too. So I've actually tried to corrupt very little about this at this point. So if you look over, we can actually see we only have every 2,000 bytes has been corrupted. So it's interesting to think that if you add 4 to the ground texture, you actually get the roof texture, which is kind of an interesting little thing. Also, the butterfly's one wing was large. I thought that was fun. This looks pretty stable. Son of a gun, why do I even bother opening my mouth? Apparently I moved the bytes that give you a gentle entry into the game, so I'm pretty sure that's cursed in some way. Here we have every 300 bits, not so bad honestly. Except for the fact that it's moving invisible walls everywhere. One of the main problems I have with doing this corruption right here is that it puts invisible walls all over the place. Kaizo, okay? This literally turns this into a Kaizo mod, okay? I thought I might explore around a little bit. And yeah, so here we are inside a Bob-omb battlefield. I remember this exploit from when I was but a wee lad. I do think it's kind of interesting. I must have somehow corrupted the areas that are responsible for the actual like tangible surfaces, not visible surfaces that you can see, but the actual tangible surfaces that you can interact with, which is kind of interesting. Also, the cannonballs are all bunched up, so that's fun. And yes, they're active. They're also pouring out from that spot, which I think is rather interesting. Now, it should be known that most of the times whenever I did try this, it just crashed on entries, so that was a bit disappointing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. This helped me out an awful lot. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. It's been fun to make. Honestly, I could really see myself, you know, getting into something like this. It's kind of like a little bit of a puzzle. It's really time consuming, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like a puzzle, and you got to figure out which bytes inside the game are responsible for what exactly. Like the last time, apparently, I managed to find the ones that makes Newbornkilik mad by putting invisible walls all over the goddamn place. So, kind of an interesting thing to think about. But anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It does really help me out an awful lot. And hey, I appreciate you for it. I'm Newbornkilik, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out.